Back over to Chuck Crosby. With the Crosby Law Office, Amy has a problem, and in this email she wrote that her home is on the market 2 weeks ago during that freeze that we had in the storm. I should also point out a lot of snow. She had a showing for her home, and one of the buyers in this party slipped on the ice, hurt her leg. It's supposedly broken, and she is worried about the legal ramifications and if she will end up paying for the injury. So for Amy and all others who are listening, if you're visiting even a friend and you slip and fall, what's the ramifications for the person who owns the property?
Well, it depends. The courts are going to, you're supposed to keep it reasonably clean. Okay. What's reasonable? Well, that's what the courts decide, right? If you've shoveled it and you've salted it and somebody's just kind of klutzy or goes off the beaten path and, wanders around to that little ice field over there, well, you may not have a whole lot of problems. The thing is, make sure you have your insurance. Obviously, if you have a home, you should have homeowners insurance. Something happens, just let them know about it, and then they'll generally take it from there. Will you pay a lot of money? Well, that's to be seen. If you told everybody, "Hey, I've shoveled, it's all great. Oh, that's wet water, that's not ice," and it turns out to be ice, well, you got yourself a problem. It's what the court is going to determine is reasonable. Did you reasonably keep the property free from this? Now, oddly, you can also throw in there the fact that if you do something, you're expected to do it to the level of a person who does that sort of thing. So if you go out and say, "Oh yeah, I shoveled," and you shoveled like a 2-year-old, well, that may not be reasonable. But take all your reasonable precautions, shovel, ice it, salt it, and you ought to be okay.
And tell me if I'm right on this. If something does happen, God forbid, go out there at that moment as soon as you can. At least take pictures. Take pictures. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We had something like that happen in our subdivision. And it's like, okay, this person might come back and say they slipped on the ice. So took pictures of all the spot where there was blood on the road and demonstrating that there was no ice, there was no water. This person just tripped. And, it never came of anything, but always a good idea.